So you really want to carry something like that. That's like the ultimate concealed carry pistol. It's a custom Glock frame. You got your extendo magazine. You got your red dot, your night sights. Yeah, but it's also compact enough that you can really, do whatever you got to do. But you are unfortunate enough to live in a state that doesn't allow you to carry 17 rounds in the magazine plus one in the chamber. So, what do? A couple options. Option A, everyone's familiar with, but beyond that point, there are a couple of compromises you can make. Now, if you can't bring yourself to put a 10-round magazine into something like this, then you have to make a compromise when it comes to your firearm. This video is going to show some options that I have in my own collection and what I do when I'm in a capacity-limited state. Just for the record, sometimes I will carry this gun with the 10-round magazine because I know that I can hit a whole bunch of stuff with it at distance. The red dot really helps me when it comes to distance shooting, and it's reliable. It's got a great trigger. It's a really solid firearm, and I love it. But here's some other options that I also use on a semi-regular basis. First option, if you like something the size of a Glock 19, HK45. Really good pistol. This is the 45C, so the flush-fitting mag holds 8 rounds in the magazine, so you're compliant with all of your local laws and everything. Plus one in the chamber is 9 total rounds on board. It's not a high-capacity firearm, but it definitely is enough fighting pistol to really do what you got to do. You can also have the 10-round magazine, and it is definitely a large enough pistol to shoot. I have medium hands, and there's definitely extra space on here for me. Plus one in the chamber, you still have a really capable firearm. Now, it is heavier than a Glock 19, but just to give you guys an idea, the gun, plus a round, plus the flush-fitting 8-round magazine, is still under a kilogram. It's 991 grams. If you want to swap the 8-round magazine with the 10-round, you're at 1,064 grams. So you're still within a decent margin when it comes to carrying. It's not as light as a Glock 19, but it's still something that you can, and I do carry this on me whole days at a time. It's a great gun. I love it. Big downside to this particular H&K is specifically that you do not have the ability to attach a good weapon-mounted light. Holster availability is something that's pretty low, and with a light, you're looking at a custom holster. Common lights that I really like the Surefire X300, the Streamlight TLR1, and the TLR7, do not fit on this rail. So you're kind of stuck unless you go a custom route. A smaller brother of the HK45C is the P2000 SK. This has a flush-fitting 10-round magazine that is available. This particular one is an LEM trigger, the V2 trigger, so it's a medium kind of trigger pull right here, and then it breaks really comfortably. It's a really good pistol with a kind of a medium reset, not a short reset, but it's still awesome. This gun is a really solid pistol. It was my first firearm, my first pistol that I purchased, and I still have it, which is enough to say about that. It's a great gun. Check the weight on here. This is a little bigger, by the way, than a Glock 26, and I'll show you something similar, but with 11 rounds on board, you're looking at 816 grams. Just to compare, this is not a 26, this is a Glock 27 in 40 Smith & Wesson. Just as a size comparison, you can see the H&K is slightly bigger, slightly taller, and has, if you line up the tangs, slightly more grip. I find the H&K is a little more comfortable to shoot. However, the Glock 27 is a great gun. Let's talk about that next. Glock 27, I bought this because I wanted a good outdoors gun, believe it or not. 40 Smith & Wesson is a pretty potent caliber when it comes to pistols. It's a little more powerful than a 9mm on a shot-by-shot basis. You pay for that in recoil. This one has the XS big dot sights on them, and it's really good. I also did an undercut on that trigger guard to get me a little higher up on the grip. This is actually a really comfortable gun to shoot. I like it quite a bit. And with a extension on the magazine, you have 10 rounds in the mag, so it's still compliant with a lot of states. I really like this gun. It's fantastic. And it's one of my summertime carry guns that I carry quite often. When it comes to the 40 Smith & Wesson, I have shot .357 Magnum revolvers, and this gun is more comfortable to me than a .357 Magnum revolver, something like a J-frame in .357, and you have twice as many rounds in the magazine than a revolver has in its cylinder. So even though you're slightly down on power, 40 Smith & Wesson is not a weak cartridge, despite what people say. It is more powerful than 9. It kind of splits the difference between 9 and 45 when it comes to size and weight, but it's a good caliber nonetheless, and it's actually a very good pistol caliber, despite the lack of popularity. With 11 rounds on board, you're looking at 802 grams, which is pretty decent, and still less than the P2000 SK with 11 rounds on board. Now, there are a couple of guns that are really good that I don't have. Honorable mentions include the Glock 43X and the 48X, or the 48 rather, and the SIG P365. Those are fantastic pistols. I have not had a lot of experience with the SIG, but I have shot the Glock 43X quite a bit, and I love it. The reason I don't have one is because I have a standard 43 with 1 in the chamber plus 7 in the mag for 8 rounds. This is probably my most common carry gun, and that's just because of the size of the gun. It is a good little pistol. It conceals nicely in a nice little tuckable holster. And I'm not as good of a shot with this than anything else on the table, but it's a really fun gun to shoot, and it's one that I have on me, which is particularly nice. With the ETS mag with 7 rounds, plus 1 in the chamber, and the gun, we're looking at the lightest package of 600 grams on the dot. So, very light gun. You don't have as much oomph as 10 rounds of 9mm. You definitely don't have the Glock 27 potency, but it's a really easy to carry package. And this is my carry gun. So I load it and I plus it up. I know that's controversial in some circles. Now we're going to talk about a wild card. This is something you can carry if you want and fits all of the check marks of being legal in many areas. This is my 1911. You've seen this on the channel before, kind of recently as well. This has 9mm, 10 rounds of 9mm. I don't have one in the chamber right now. It's still going to come in heavier than everything else. But this is a gun that you can carry as well if you really feel inclined. Of all the guns on the table, this is the one that fits a flashlight the best. There's options for the other ones, but I like this one the most with the TLR1. And coming in on weight, we have a big boy here. Let's zero that out. 1,224 grams with 10 rounds on board. So you're talking a lot of weight for this pistol. I do love it though. It is, of all the guns here, not counting the 19 with the Hollow Sun on top, this is the one that I am most confident with when I'm aiming down the sights. If I pull the trigger, I know it's going to shoot where I'm aiming. This is an incredibly confidence-inspiring gun. It inspires incredible confidence. And it's just a really, really good shooter. A lot of that has to do with the weight. There's a lot of weight, which means it tames recoil very, very well. It also has a really touchy trigger, so let me make sure it's empty again. This is not a gun I really like carrying because if I happen to defeat both the safeties, the trigger is 2 pounds. 2.5 pounds, thereabouts. Really light. So, all that said, it's a great pistol, but you've got to choose whatever's good for you. There's a lot of options out there. I did not mention the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, or the plethora of other options from other manufacturers. Springfield has one, Kimber has one, has a couple. You name it. You name the manufacturer, and they probably have a firearm that fits in this boat. You'll notice I also don't have any revolvers on the table. That gun's the reason I don't have any revolvers. I don't need them. I feel like I don't need them when I can have a firearm of that size and that weight with nearly as much potency and twice the capacity. So, there you go. The only thing that's a revolver is particularly good for in my eyes is large calibers, .357 Magnum, 44 and bigger, or shooting from a pocket. And because I don't really intend on doing that often, this is good enough for me where I am in my life. Anyway, stay safe out there, everyone. Hope you guys get any of these 10-round capacity limits overturned, and keep watching the Supreme Court, because hopefully there's some good 2A stuff come down the pipe. Stay safe out there, everyone. See ya. Don't forget, self-defense is a human right.